welcome to the first episode of This Is Us. I'm your host and my name is Dee. This Is Us is a show where we bring topics to the table and have a conversation around. With me today, I have Tyler, G, and Jude. Social media has been around for quite some time, but we know that it has some positives and it has some negatives. Positives, it can be used as a motivational tool for daily quotes, affirmations, for online communities. On a negative, we know it can cause things like depression, and some people can have addictions, feel a bit lonely. So I'm just going to pass this question on to Jude. How has social media affected you or those around you?
Typical African, man. And where we come from, we don't really talk about mental health. So I really don't know on that aspect whether it does affect me. But I do spend a considerable amount of time on social media, especially these days when we're all locked up. I got locked up, they won't let me out.
You mean locked down?
Yeah, locked up, so lockdown. I got locked up. Yeah. So I really don't know how much it's affected me, but I know we do spend a considerable amount of time. Sometimes I do just step a bit back and look at my whole family. We're 5 in numbers, and I look at all of us, and we all very, very close strangers. Everyone at a given time, considerable amount of time, they're always either on their phone, iPad, or laptop. I'm working from home, so.
Isn't that scary that sometimes you just enter your household and you're all sitting there on a device?
It is scary, but at the end of the day, though, this is the new reality. I'm in my own zone. I'm doing my work, so I don't want to be distracted from my work, paid job. I got to pay bills, and I'm looking at my family closely going away from me. They're drawn to their own device. But if I go say, hey, let me disrupt that and ask them to, hey, let's be family, that means I won't be able to do my job. The bills got to be paid. So it's give and take. So somehow it does affect our lives on a daily basis.
Okay. G, how's it affected you? Have you been doing anything? How has social media affected your household or those around you?
My husband has a side business, so he uses it for that. So it's quite crucial for him. But normally he doesn't really use social media. Like, I don't think he's even posted me once on there or anything like that, which is fine. That's just how he is. He mostly uses his phone to like read news and stuff like that, which keeps us informed. But for me, I use social media a lot less than I used to. I think I gave myself some sort of grace period over the Christmas holidays to be more active on social media and do more on there. But apart from that, I don't miss it when I'm not on it. It's not all do or die affair for me. It's not when I took time off it, I didn't miss it. Nobody missed me. Nobody looked for me on there. So for me, like you said, it's good for like motivational quotes. And for me, I use it mainly for comedy. Like if I've had a hard day at work and I need to laugh, I follow quite a few like funny pages where I just watch a video of, I don't know, a goat screaming and I'm good for the rest of the week or something, so things like that make me laugh. But apart from that, I don't really, and I think also I'm very aware that there's a lot of fake lives on there. So I don't take anything on there too seriously. So if someone's standing next to a car and saying, what's that phrase they say? Small girl, big God. I'm thinking, okay, sure, that's not even your car, but whatever. So I use it, it's like when you watch TV and you don't believe everything you see on TV. That's how I look at social media. It's just another form of entertainment.
That sort of takes me to my next question, which is social media. There's a big problem with social media with the issue of social comparison. So people sort of comparing themselves to what they see online. Tyler, what's your view in regards to that? What are the physical and the mental health? What are the effects in regards to physical and mental health?
So personally, I use social media quite a lot because of my industry and because of one of my businesses. So I use it. It actually helps me get work and stuff like that. When it comes to comparing myself personally, social media doesn't really affect me like that. But saying that, I can see how it does affect people. And I can see how, especially in the industry that I'm in, if you're seeing people constantly on social media that are, winning in life or, killing it, smashing it, hashtag winning, doing whatever they're doing, it makes you straight away think about yourself, your own journey. What are you doing? Should I be doing something better? Should I be going out there trying to do this, trying to do that? So it puts this kind of pressure on you to perform. No, I'm not saying on me personally.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't to me, thankfully it doesn't. But it does to people that I know, people around me. You know, even sometimes my wife, for example, you know, she's in the same industry as me, and you know, she takes breaks from social media at times.
Yeah.
I'm currently on a social media fast at the minute, which means
how's that going?
That's going really well.
About that.
It's going really well. So yeah, so from 4 p.m. I can come on social media till 10 p.m. and then that's it. So what that does is it stops me going on social media at night before I go to bed. You know, last thing before you go to sleep. And then it stops me waking up in the morning and going on social media. So now I get up in the morning and I can't go on social media till 4 p.m. And that's quite a long part of the day. But it helps you with your mind, and you're not immediately putting other people's lives into your
brain.
Exactly. So so it's massive when it comes to comparisons and stuff. And if in one more point on that, like I said, it doesn't affect me as such, but I think subconsciously there's a part of it that may affect everyone. Example, if I go on social media and I see someone that I know that's in the same industry that's just landed a big boy job, and he's a similar casting to me, something inside me going to be like, oh, where was my casting? Or how comes I didn't?
I think you should tell us what your what's the word I'm looking for? How it relates to you. Yeah, what's your industry?
Yeah, I'm talking like as if it's a secret or something. So I'm an actor. I'm an actor. So obviously, you know, being an actor, you know, comparisons.
What may we have seen you in?
But then
no, we're not here for that kind of conversation.
If you think about our youths of today, their use of social media, because we've spoken about social comparison, but we know that the younger generation, some of them do compare themselves to what they see online. We're thinking about fake lives and people putting that into reality. Jude, what do you think about that? So the ideas of things like TikTok or even Instagram, following somebody out there and thinking, well, I can do the same. I can be that person. What do you think about that, Jude?
I don't think social media per se is the reason for that. It's always been like that. We've had phrases like keeping up with the Joneses. That was before social media. What social media has done is exposed us. It's made it for everybody. It's just on demand for people to know that this is the fragility of human beings. We've always been fragile. We've always been trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the Tylers, trying to keep up with the Agbajes of this world. You know what I mean? There are other ways to do that. You go to marriages, parties, you have family dues, and you see those who appear to be living life better than you, and you come back and moan and you mope and you say, whoa, look at that guy, look at that dude. We went to school together, we were in the same class. So it's always been like that.
Does that though.
No, it's always been like that. But social media, what social media has done, it's made it so readily available that people see. So previously, I would have to go out to see my mates who were doing better than me. Oh, look, my mate's got a new whip, got a new shoe. But now I don't have to go out. Just picking up my phone, my God, I'm getting WhatsApp. Boy, you see what your mate is doing and all of that stuff. So that's why it's just putting ready information for us right now. But it's always been there. So I don't think it's added more pressure, but it's always been the case with us. True. It's just only exposed the fragility.
It's always been there. But as I said, for the youth, they've now, as you said, we'd have to go out to see what people are sort of comparing themselves to. Yeah. But for the youth, they've got it readily in front of them. They're in their houses thinking, oh, let me do my hair to look like this person. Let me do my makeup. Let me cut my hair to look like this person. So is that really going to be, is that any good for their mental health?
It's all about managed expectations. I've got a daughter who's I hope I remember how old she is. She's 14. She's 14. She just turned 14, so she should be in bed.
I hope she's watching.
Yeah, I'm that kind of good. I'm that kind of good dad. She goes to bed quick. Anyway, I've had conversations with my daughter where she's got nice hair, and I noticed one time she wanted to make her hair in a certain way, and I realized it must have been coming from friends on social media. This is somebody who's got she's only got one post on Instagram, and she's got more than 4,000 friends. I've got more than 600 posts. I've got less than 400 friends, so I'm jealous of her. So you see, she must have seen it somewhere.
Yeah. One post and 4,000 friends.
Yeah. And the post is not even clear.
When you say friends, you mean followers, right? Not friends.
Followers, fans.
Yeah, 4,000 followers, something like that. And I've got 600 posts, and I got less than 300 followers. So I'm jealous of her. So what I was trying to say is this. I noticed one time she was talking about her hair, and I sat her down. I said, look, you've got beautiful hair. appreciate what you got. It's all about managed expectations. If my kids come to me, one of my sons, when we used to go around during the days before we got locked up, something like that, or locked out. Yeah, those days, that little boy would tell me that guy's wearing this, that. He knows the names of different
how old is
trainers.
Your son?
He's
oh
boy, you put me on the spot. I think he's
Hey,
I don't know. I can't remember how old he is. Just
your
leave me alone.
child.
I can't remember. Come on,
Okay,
I got too many.
give us a range. Give us a range. 10 to 15.
I think he's 11. He's 11.
We think.
He's 11,
Okay.
I believe that. Hand to my chest, he's 11. But this guy knows the names of different trainers and all of that. And I'm like, geez, how do you know that? Now, he is wanting to have those trainers. I have to manage the expectations for him and say, look, son, money don't grow upon trees, you know. I have to work for this money. You have to manage all of that. If you don't manage it, that's where the trouble comes. They're youth, like you rightly said. They're young ones. They still our words. We still have a sort of an oversight over them. So we help them manage it. And it's not just them. I still have these pressures. I see my friend dress all good and I want to have what they're having. But reality kicks in and I say, you know what? I'm on paid salary. I don't know what that guy is doing. I need to.
Maybe the comparison thing, it depends on your personality, because I don't have that at all. I've never, if I see somebody wearing something, and not even on Instagram, but in real life, if they're wearing shoes or bag or whatever, I'll go to them and say, oh, I'm sorry, where's that from? Or where'd you get that from? You know, old school kind of way. But I've never, maybe because I've never been a person like, oh, that person has that thing, I want it too.
Maybe it's not comparison.
You've hit something in regards to when social media is used for advertising. So, for example, social media is used for personalities employed by marketers to promote products. So they're there flashing the Michael Kors handbag or the Louis Vuitton shoes, and you'll think, I'd like to have a pair of those. And that's an example of your, she's just shaking her head. It doesn't hit me.
Because they have paid them. You know, I told you I watched a video about how influencers make their money. These people have been paid to market the crap out of these things. And I think being Nigerian and authentically Nigerian, I am naturally suspicious anyway of everything.
I cannot lie. I thought it's fab.
What did you buy?
I bought leggings for exercising now. I thought
the ones that they say won't fall down.
He didn't fall down. He doesn't fall down.
It's fabletics. The fabletics. They look good. They look good. They look good.
Yeah, that one is different.
Tyler, what's your opinion in regards to that? So social media personalities employed to advertise their products.
You know what? I don't really have an issue with it or anything. I think advertising something that's been around forever as well. So it's just now a new medium and a new way. And I think for companies, it's actually cheaper to send, to send someone that's got 2 million followers, to send them Balenciagas or whatever and make them wear them. That shoe, even though it costs £700 or whatever it is cheaper for them to send a bunch out to people for them to wear them, and all their followers just need to see it. And it works. Let's face it, it works. You just said you went and bought the leggings or whatever it was. It works. People buy things because we live in a society and a culture that people love to follow people. Look, we all have followers. People love follow culture. So it's like they see the person that they adore wearing that, they're gonna want to wear it. And I think for the going back to the youngsters, this is where it gets dangerous. This is where it's scary almost, because then you got youngsters that are going to school,
do anything
that are seeing these things on social media, and it's about how do I get that? And then like you said, anything. That's when people can start molding people and drugs and sex and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's a scary, scary, scary world. But back to what Jude says, managing them expectations, I think. Obviously I've got a daughter. She's only 1 right now, but when she's a bit older, I'm gonna be that father that's gonna be managing the expectations and kind of guiding her. And I think we need to do that to all the youngsters. We need to guide them and tell them that this is not a real world.
You might need to start that when she's about 2.5. So that's a nice
Probably.
of mine.
Yeah,
Because
no, real
now
talk.
my son, we would say he wants something. I'd be like, no. He said, Mommy, it's not fair. I went, such is life. He knows it now. That's the phrase that comes after it's not fair. And today he saw an advert for Disney Plus, and he told me, Mommy, we need to get Disney. I'm like, you're 3. How do you know what Disney Plus is? Because, Mommy, we need Disney Plus. I'm like, no, we don't need Disney Plus.
Wow.
So
But
I'm like,
did you guys know that there was actually a disorder? It's called internet addiction disorder.
They've given its name.
They've given its name.
Why not?
Say it again. Say it again. Internet
addiction disorder. There is an actual name.
Let me write it down.
I believe it.
I think when there's something to be sold anyway, there's always a market when there's something to be sold. Obviously, we would have experts now talking about mental health related or internet related mental health. Everything in the world is created anyway, socially constructed. So I don't think that's surprising to have that.
Yeah.
But
I'm just picturing myself going to my GP and saying, yeah, excuse me, can I have a sick note for
if I was your GP, if I was your GP, I'll tell you to just sell off your iPads and phones and just go back to the old Nokia.
What?
I don't need to pamper to your cravings. I'll just say, sell off your phones, go get Nokia 3310.
Then I'll go see my other GP. I have 4 GPs. It's okay.
You know what though, yeah? Just to touch on that addiction thing, yeah. I think that's a real, like, you know, the title was the title, whatever the title is. But I think it's a real thing because I'll give you an example.
I agree.
Me personally, I'll give you my own personal example. And this is why I have to have my social media fast, is because you pick up your phone sometimes and you go on Twitter, you come off Twitter, you go on Instagram, you come off Instagram, you go on Facebook, you go on YouTube, you watch a video,
you go on WhatsApp,
you're on WhatsApp, you're back on Instagram, and before you know it, you've spent 35-40 minutes scrolling. That's addiction. Yeah. That is addiction.
I disagree with you, Tyler. The reason I disagree with you is this. This is a newly social problem. So I really don't want people. I don't want people to get that mindset that it is an addiction. We start putting resources into that. We've got issues. We've got issues that no one is looking into. We've got issues like hoarding. We've been fighting for hoarding to be recognized as a mental health problem. We're still not recognizing that is even deadlier than this. I don't see. Of course, we have to look at internet-related mental ill health because suicides have been happening over all of these issues. But what I'm trying to say is, the internet is not the reason for that. The internet is only just exposing the fragility of humans. Humans have always killed themselves. We've always committed suicides because of pressure and due to other personal reasons. Yes. What the internet has done for us is brought it to our door. Before, when there was something about Tyler on the news as an actor, you would have to wake up and your neighbor will call you or your cousin will say, Tyler, have you seen the dailies?
Or you go and buy the newspaper.
You're on the front pages. And if you don't go read the front pages, you don't know what's happening. But these days, it's on Twitter, they'll run you out, the cancel culture. We understand all of that. But I don't want us to really think that it is a problem. I'm not belittling it, but I'm saying there are other bigger issues and we can really manage this.
I'm surprised hoarding is not recognized yet. I thought it was.
I think they're getting there, or they've got there. Maybe I'm late with my news, but it's been a big battle. But internet is getting more news anyway compared to that, definitely.
The kids nowadays use internet to read and do research and do their homework. So if they need to do 8 hours over 2 days of internet, and that's now classified as addiction, then that's nonsense because it's not going to work. So I think internet is different to social media. I think.
Yeah. There's another term for it as well. I think there's something they call Facebook depression, which covers just the excessive use of free time engaging on social media websites.
Oh my God.
But you have to remember, social media has been around for a very long time. I don't know if any of you remember things like Classmates? High Five?
Yeah, High Five. Yeah.
High Five. MySpace, I was there.
I joined none of them.
Yahoo Messenger.
But it's been around for some time. So you have to think people would have excessively been using it since back then. And have just evolved with what's been going on now.
Do you know the Facebook thing you just said is interesting because, sometimes I've seen either via my own page or my wife's page, people genuinely having mental breakdowns on Facebook by writing statuses. You see some people writing statuses every single day, long statuses, telling us about their life, their husband, their wife, their divorce, this, whatever it is. That's them having a mental breakdown on the internet.
On the internet.
So it is, again, it is a, you know, it is a real thing.
I remember when people used to change their profile picture on social media, whichever one it is, to like a black thing or like a candle, so people can be like, "Oh, what's up, baby? You okay? What's up? Call somebody." Why are you putting? They would put just like a black screen or like a candle or something.
It's a cry for help.
I remember it was rife on BBM then. Yeah. So that people can say, "Oh, what's
is it really a cry for help, or is it a cry for attention?
It's a cry for attention. There's a big difference.
D, you said something about we had all this MySpace and all of that. I remember those days. I was just telling somebody a couple of days ago when I used to wake up so late because I needed to chat with somebody on Yahoo Messenger who was on another continent, and the time difference and all of that. And what that does is, well, it cost money at the time, and we had to maybe trek like 20 minutes to get to that place. So you get discouraged. One, you don't have the money to buy time to use to chat. Now WhatsApp is almost free. Facebook is almost free. YouTube is almost free. So it's right there in front of you. And with all the statuses and what people put there and having a mental health breakdown, mental health breakdown has always been with us. What people are doing, is it a cry for help? Don't get me wrong. So many people have been helped. I've made good friends. I've made good friendship on social media. I try as much as possible.
I'm just going to stop you for 1 minute.
Okay.
We currently have about 32 people that tuned in. So I just wanted to say hello to them. And thank you for tuning in with us.
Hello. I need to do my Queen's wave.
The Queen's wave.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 1.
I'm going to let you continue, Jude. Sorry, I just wanted to say.
I just lost my train of thought now because you told me we got fans. We got fans, so I'm like.
They said watching. Nobody said fans.
He's gassed.
They said watching.
Okay, we'll find out later whether they are fans.
Social media.
So like I said.
I'm just going to change just sort of what we are discussing ever so slightly. So we've been thinking about social media and the use just generally for the public. But how about how social media is used in employment? So social media is used, in example, an employer is looking to hire someone and they go into LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook to decide whether you are the right candidate for that position. I'm going to send that to Jude. Jude, what do you think about that?
It is great. I think I'm in my current job. I've been with this agency for 3 years, and they got through to me through LinkedIn. Great stuff. But what that is cut off, though, is cut off the human interaction.
Yeah.
Previously, you would get your CV, you go into this office, you meet real people, photocopy your documents. All of that is gone. There's no real human interaction. And sometimes, I know maybe my employer is watching now, you send your CV over and they tweak it here and there. You don't have that interaction anymore. It's easy. It's made things kind of easier for us, but I still think there's need for the human interaction, so to speak.
But isn't that where we're going now, especially with this pandemic? Because I've had to sit through quite a few video interviews and things like just to have conversations with people. Isn't that what we're going through now, what we're having to do because of the situation we're in at the moment? So
of course, it's helping us right now in this current world we live in. But I think humans always, it's part of our basic needs. If you look at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there's need for that connection, we have to have that Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs. There's need for that human interaction, and we're definitely going to go back. I'm not giving up hope on that. I don't think Zoom will just take over our lives and we just remain this way. We're definitely going to go back to the human interaction. Internet and the social media will be there. They will work alongside us. Humans, we're very resilient, and we're going to definitely go back to that human side of interaction. Trust me.
But what about discrimination? So an employer is looking for someone to hire, they can see your image, and straight up they say, no, that person's not right for the job.
How do you mean discrimination when you meet them in person?
No, we're talking about the use of social media in regards to employees.
That's another part we need to explore. We need to explore that. How do they use that you're absolutely right. Discrimination is a key thing. Now people can just log you off your internet. What if LinkedIn blocked me? Maybe I did something that was against their community rules and they actually kicked me out of LinkedIn. Does that mean I won't be able to get prospective employers? We need to ask these questions.
Well, LinkedIn for me, I was headhunted for a job years ago via LinkedIn. I wasn't even looking. And and it was quite nice. And I did. I mean, this is before lockdown or What do you call it? Locked up.
Locked
Uh,
up.
uh-huh. So, and yes, it was, I don't really like to classify LinkedIn as social media, but I guess it is. And I still went in for a coffee to talk to them. And I still had like a sort of interview. So there was still the human interaction there. And I don't think that social media will remove human interaction completely, because anyone can make you can now pay people to make your LinkedIn look fab and fantastic.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah. You can either
you
do
can make
a course
in there as well.
Exactly. You can either do a course that teaches you how to do it, or you can pay somebody.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
And then from your LinkedIn profile, if you go on, I think it's called People Per Hour. There are people on there offering their services to do your LinkedIn profile and your CV and cover letter for any job you apply for on there. So that's all social media and internet, whatever. But the human interaction is where you know who somebody is. I mean, my current job, I mean, when I went to the interview, I remember I was being made redundant from my job before. And I remember I was going to the interview and it was for 3 different jobs. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, I know the job I want and I'm going to fight for that one. But also I want to leave a lasting impression. And I know they've seen my LinkedIn, they've seen everything looks good, but I knew I had to give a different impression when I turn up. So I turned up in a hot pink linen suit because I'm like, you're not going to forget the girl in the hot pink linen suit.
That is
right.
I have arrived. She has arrived.
This is awesome.
I had nails from my holiday. They were all glitter, and I remember something in my mind saying, "Oh, you can't have glitter nails at an interview." And the other thing in my head went, "Why not?" So I turned up, hot pink linen suit and glittery glitter. My hair was up here, like a massive hair.
Did you get a job?
Nothing. Absolutely, yes, I did.
Come on,
If my CV is whatever average like everybody else, at least they'll remember to go.
Guys, I have to say the comments coming through, and we've had one that's come through saying there is no downside to social media. It's only a reflection of what we are, only amplified. Although it seems that there's an argument going on within our comments at the moment. So until I get more feedback from that, I can tell you what else has been said. But
I agree with that comment completely.
Exactly.
Because you choose how social media affects you. So social media, the way I look at it with most things is social media is there minding its own business. You can choose to go in. So if you choose to go in, what you get out of it is completely up to you in terms of how much time you give it, how much dedication and whatever.
That's not entirely true, though. It's not entirely true. Social media is this social media, like for example, Facebook and WhatsApp. What WhatsApp is going to get into, I don't know if you get the notification to sign up. We'll have to sign up to that. If you don't sign up, you'll be disconnected from it. Social media, they're not really innocent. They're not innocent. Yeah,
sign up for WhatsApp.
They're not innocent entity. Wow. These guys spend billions upon billions of dollars to manipulate, to get to know you. Ask yourself why you've browsed on your Google pants from Marks and Spencer, and all of a sudden you're on Instagram and Marks and Spencer pants are coming up all day. You have to. Not entirely innocent. I know he exposes the fragility of humans at the moment, but it is engineered to be that way. So yes, the good side is there. Tyler can get jobs from there. I can get jobs from there. I can sell my things on that. Put my online business there.
It's still up to you to interact with it as a human being. It's still your choice to interact with it.
Exactly.
I see ads come up every 5 minutes on Instagram. I don't click on them. The ones that are relevant to me, I've bought some very useful kitchen tools from ads on Instagram. I can tell you that, but tools I won't find anywhere. But ads, it's a fact of like, what I'm saying is the same way you said you can get your Nokia 3310 and use that. That's up to you if you don't want to do social media. It literally won't impact you unless you go into it. That was my point. Like, it's sitting there minding its own business. If you choose to have WhatsApp, if you choose to have Facebook, Instagram, all these other things. I mean, there's so many I've taken off my phone because I don't even know how they work. Snapchat wouldn't work for me. I tried it. My sister tried. She goes, maybe it just doesn't like you. I gave it up. Twitter, there was just too much going on. And when I started seeing naked things, I said, no, I came off it. TikTok, I was there for I think half an hour. I think I did a clip of me dancing with some new shoes, and I said, you know what, I don't want anymore. I left. So you don't have to go into it if you don't want to go into it.
Tyler, how do you use social media productively?
So personally, I've got 2 accounts. One is my personal, which shows myself, my family.
Your OnlyFans.
No, I don't have an OnlyFans. Definitely not. I definitely don't have one of them. But for me, I just try and, you know, like we mentioned earlier about this kind of fake world of social media. I could happily sit here, hand on my heart, and say everything I put on my social media is real. I don't do this fake stuff. I'm me. How I am on social media is me in real life. It's me messing about, me having fun. You know, I show my acting, I show my family. I don't show my daughter's face, but we show, you know, show her the back of her head and stuff like that. And I think everything on my social media is about positivity. Not because I'm an influencer, not because I'm trying to, I don't know, I'm not trying to influence anybody, but I'm a positive person. Yeah, I'm a positive person. I'm grateful. So everything I put on my page, I have a grid layout. So it's kind of like I post a picture, then I post a positive quote or comment or words for myself. So that what that does for me is, if I ever want to go on my social media, when I look down the middle, every single thing I look at is something positive. You know, an example
is organization, man.
It is. But an example is, you know, when my daughter was born, so that post just said her name. So when I look down, I see her name. It makes me smile. Do you know what I mean? So everything on my social media is positivity. If you look at my social media, then you may get something positive from it. You may not, but you hopefully you will. And if you do, then cool. Like for me, I'm happy, you're happy. That's it. You know, I never try to spread any negative vibes. It's just all positive. And it doesn't mean, but someone else may look at that and be like, okay, so you only post the good. Yes, it doesn't mean that bad things will happen. But what I also talk about that as I say, look, things in my life are not perfect. I'm not a perfect person, I'm not a perfect human. I'm on this journey, I'm trying. But at the same time, I'm not someone that posts, you know, if I've had an argument with my wife, for example, or something like that. I don't post that because that's between me and my wife, you know? So yeah, it's just about positivity for me and uplifting people and promoting other people. I love to promote. Some people think that you can't promote other people, even if people are in the same industry as you. I still promote them because me promoting you is not going to take away from my blessings.
Exactly.
I'm doing me. You know what I mean? So promote other people, spread the word, man.
I try to do that as well. If I've used a product, or like my husband bought me something the other day from a friend, I said, do they have an IG page? I sent them a message. He bought me cake, birthday cake. It was very last minute. We didn't even know they could do it. They did it. I said, what's the IG page?
I'm waiting for my slide. So
it's still in the
me too.
So
you're the friend.
I'm waiting for my slide.
I'll post it. But no, I also like to promote on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. But in terms of negative news, that's what the actual news is for. So I don't need to repeat anything that's negative on my Instagram.
That note, in regards to, so we've seen examples of social media used to undermine the traditional news. So, for example, social media is what was used for the shooting of Trayvon Martin or George Floyd, and even for the End SARS protests. So what are your thoughts in regards to that? Because that was used in a positive way for us to actually see what was going on.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on, and some of it wasn't on the main news. It wasn't on our main news networks.
I think that side of it's good because then it pressures TV channels and networks to then put news. You know, we've seen multiple stories, multiple stories that have come out on social media that haven't been on the news, and the next thing now you start seeing things in the news or on. So I think that side of it is good. And my only question is, what does it do eventually? Because, you know, we can all have a day of posting, you know, like Blackout Tuesday and stuff like that, but then what does it do following on? That's my only thing, you know.
I saw a lot of posts about what happens after Blackout Tuesdays and whatever, because and I think the thread I saw after that was more like, okay, now we've done all the posting, we've done all the hashtags, what's next? You need to educate. And I try to push some of that on LinkedIn.
I'm actually part of one on WhatsApp that's come from Instagram, and it's a breakout group on Black educators. So there are sort of breakout groups that form from all what's been going on in the world around.
Curriculum now. There's a Black curriculum.
They're building and working on that.
Instagram in the UK.
I guess the battle between new media and the traditional, the old guards is going to continue for a long time. I like the fight. I think it's putting the old guards on their toes to, like, you know, come into modernity, but you cannot really fight old money.
It's because
you cannot
they
fight
can't
old money and
verify the stories and the videos all the time, and that would affect their credibility, which is
exactly
that's what BBC
yes,
says anyway.
exactly. This news, they come in real time, but with
Yeah.
BBC and ITV and those established houses, they have to then verify, edit, and send people out to go see if this news is true, because their reputation's on the line. But I could go behind an Instagram page and call myself Black Uhuru and say all sort of nonsense and put people in real problems, and none of them is true. You see what I mean? Why? Of course, the information is flooded the earth like there's no tomorrow, which was good. But I'll tell you one thing, just reflecting back while I was listening on to others speak. The George Floyd thing, he actually almost sent me depressed. Trust me, it was too much. I just could not take it. Like I said, it was at that time I deleted my Twitter page. I never used my real name on Twitter just because of the job that I do. I don't want to be putting things there and people think, oh, this is your professional life and this is it. It contradicts. I had good followership. I had to delete it because I just thought the pressure at that time was too much. It was just, I cried so many times. So during the George Floyd thing, the information overload was too much. And don't forget, it was just at the beginning of the whole lockdown period. So
but isn't that the reason why they use social media? It's that whole, if we switched on to the main news, we would have had it constantly on the main news. Because it was because it was social media that was being used. Whenever you refreshed, it would always show up on your page. I remember the NSARS, every time I refreshed, it was always on my page. But I'm going to change the subject ever so slightly. And I'm going to move this to Jude. Jude, I know we've previously had a conversation where you've spoken about trolling. I want to know, have you had an experience of trolling, or know if anyone has had an experience of trolling? And with trolling, would there be what would social media be like with and without, or without trolling?
Trolling is, look, it means something you've said or something you've done on social media is causing some brouhaha or disturbances somewhere. People are taking interest. So it's good for you if you want to become an influencer, or you want to get that clout on social media because of your line of business. You're driving traffic either way, whether negative or positive. But the downside to that is when, like I said, if for example, my picture came up on BBC, if people were going to complain about how I looked on BBC, they would have to complain into BBC, and BBC will they have a department who would sit on it and filter it and then reply. But Twitter and Instagram and these are instant justice. These guys, they'll tell you straight up there, and so you're getting real news from friends, from enemies, and this is why it is overwhelming. So I've had people abuse me. I've had people say in the Nigerian parlance, go and hug a transformer, go jump up from a skyscraper. I've had people tell me, you sound like a Benin boy. We know you, we'll get you. And I was like, whatever.
What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, and sometimes I've been like tempted to say, seriously, man, you don't want to have it with me. But I'll just say, no. I need to keep my mouth shut, because you don't really know who these guys are. You don't even know if they live next door to you, because everyone is hiding behind a mask. It was after the George Floyd, I decided to go on social media with my real names and my picture. I say, you know what? I'm no longer hiding. Bring it on. Yeah, but trolling can be really bad for your health, because you go to sleep, you have a family to protect. I can protect myself to an extent, but I can't really watch out for my family and my loved ones and my closed ones. You see, that's where the problem is for me.
Yeah, I hear that. Can I jump in on that?
Yes, sure, Jude.
I've had a few experiences with trolling, and it always surprises me, again, because I'm positive on social media. And the trolling that I've had has come from so weird and random. I had some last year, and I did a film years ago. And the trolling was about the film, but because I played a character in the film, they were coming for me. Like, it was mad.
Why?
Like, and I'm saying things like, I remember one of the guys messaging me and saying things like, how could your wife be with you? And all stuff, like making it personal. Yeah.
But you're an actor. That's your job.
For real. But listen, I'm not a good person to troll. I'm not a good person.
So what did you do?
I'll reply. If you want to message me, I'll reply, cool, let's have it. I'm not saying we're now going to start meeting up with you and fighting. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, if you got the audacity to go on your phone and think you can message me negativity, I know I shouldn't reply to these things. And I've taught myself going forward, I'm probably not going to reply. But just the audacity, I'm like, who do you think you are? Like,
who are you?
You probably wouldn't say this to my face if we're standing in front of each other. So why do you think you can go on?
That's the beauty of social media.
Yeah. So sometimes I just like to out these people and be like, and then sometimes I'll even post it. Look at this. Look what
I
this
would.
just said.
If anybody
You know
blatantly trolled me, not that it's ever happened like that, I would literally screenshot it, send it to my page, and then to the police, so that when it goes down,
the police
I reported it. No, but I like an audit trail, so you can see the steps. Okay, I've tried, and this person pushed it.
But at the same time, just on the small little experiences I've had of trolling, I can't imagine on the big level. You know, on the big level, you know, people that have committed suicide in the entertainment industry. So I can't imagine. It must be a lot. It must be a lot, because even the 1-2 comments that I've had has affected me in terms of, hold on a minute, who are you? If you're getting thousands,
imagine that. Then imagine what our politicians are going through, our local MPs, our local councillors. They get trolled every time. And they get threatened. People tell them, we know where you live, we're going to kill you. Look at what Diane Abbott is going through on a daily. Look at what the MPs like Abena, all of these black MPs are going through. Not just the black MPs, even the white MPs. Look at what they're going through. And these are people who actually know where they live in the community, but hiding behind faceless Instagram pages and Twitter pages, and they're just raining abuse day in and day out, you know? So it can be really hard work.
We've had somebody in the chat mention about it likening, being similar to bullying. But I actually think trolling might be even worse than bullying.
It's worse than bullying. It's what, because it's mental, it's in your head. Like, okay, I know there's no type of good bullying, but when you go to school or, you know, young people, whatever, and they're pushing you around on the playground, that's one thing. But then to do it as a mental thing, imagine, I mean, I see lots of, I think it was an NSPCC ad. I hope I've said the name right, the one for the children's charity, where they showed like people sending you messages, like you wake up in the morning and it's literally your so-called friends from school saying, why don't you just kill yourself and the world will be a better place, blah blah blah. And I watched a program on bullying, and these people, they take it to heart. They think it's real. It just manifests into this thing in their head, which is why social media for me is just it's such a big thing that if you don't use it well, it could lead you down a road that to come out of it is just long. And it's also quite a lonely place to be, because obviously on social media it's just you and your account. It's not like it's not a communal thing. You can be in the house with 6-10 other people. Nobody knows the kind of abuse you're getting. Exactly. And it's the same way that all these dirty pedophiles use social media to groom young boys and young girls. So it's just the whole thing is just one of those. I mean, I've already said my son is going to grow up on a farm in Nigeria somewhere. So
or in Abiyakuta.
Yes, any village that will have us.
Okay, so we're gonna sort of take it on to the lighter note of things. I see the benefits of social media as a motivational tool, especially with health and well-being. I know I follow quite a few groups that sort of help with things like fitness, just general banter, to have a laugh here and there. What are your thoughts in regards to it being a motivational tool?
That's what I use it for the most. I follow lots of spiritual people on there, lots of Christian leaders on there. I follow, again, like I said, I follow a few comedians on there, but mainly, like, I literally have my go-to pages that if I need that instant pick me up, I just go straight there. I follow life coaches on there. So for me, it's useful to have, I know social media, the whole way it's set up is for instant gratification. So for me, let's say I'm having a rough day and I don't really want to talk to anybody about it. I don't actually know what the matter is. I'm just having an off day. I can just go on, find a quote from someone's page, use it. Or like I said, go back to the screaming goats, which always makes me laugh. You know, so it's good for things like that. And I think in as much as you can have the cons of the social anxiety and depression, whatever, on the flip side, there's so much positivity on there. You can literally message somebody that maybe you will not be able to have access to them in on a normal whatever. But because it's social media, you can direct message them. You never know, they might reply, they might not. I messaged someone the other day from a podcast I listened to, just say, where is your podcast gone? I can't find it on Spotify anymore. And they replied me. So and because this was the podcast that I liked, that was helping me in terms of just in general, just I learned a lot of stuff on there. So it's good in that way, and that's what is really good for, which is why I think for across all the different social media, I probably won't be able to come off something like Instagram because it's instant in that regard. Something like Facebook, I don't have that regularly. I have it on my iPad. If I see it, I see it. And I think the way I actually try and remember Facebook is to switch on that toggle that when I post on Instagram, depending on what it is, I post to Facebook at the same time, because at least I kill two birds with one stone.
I don't have the Facebook app. So if I want to check my Facebook, I have to actually log in to have a look as to what's going on Facebook. But Instagram I do use. And for me, it's a tool to communicate, I've managed to catch up with cousins that I've not spoken to or not met since I was about 7. So I've used it as a thing to sort of keep in touch with people I haven't seen or spoken to in years.
Yeah.
But it's also been quite motivational because there's quite a few influencers I follow, people for exercise classes. I've just joined one and they're killing me with the classes I do 3 days a week.
Well done.
I'm trying. We have to try somewhere, especially for everyone. We have to try. But as a whole, I think as much as it's got the negatives, I actually think social media is an amazing tool to have if used wisely. So I'm just going to put it out there for all of you. Our topic today has been social media, fake lives creating real problems. Do you have any tips for our viewers?
I'll go first.
Go on.
I don't have any tips, but for me though, I don't do role models. I don't follow influences, so to speak. I don't really know what that word means, but I prefer. I said earlier that my daughter has got 4,000 or 3,000 plus followers. Previously, I had very few followers, and these are real people that I know in person. And later on, it started to add up. And I would do something. If you follow me, I'll follow back, because I just think it's rude if I don't follow back. I don't know why. I just have to. If I don't, it just bothers me. But having said that, I don't do role models because I know they're humans just like me. They caca and they do everything that I do, and they fail like I fail every time, and they rise up again. I don't want a role model in my life then depend on them so much, and then they fail, and then I start to think, wow, I thought that guy or that lady was a god or something, and then I'd lose my whole focus and I lose the belief in humanity. You see what I mean? That's why I don't do it. There are fake lives there. You spoke about the exercise one. Great. But sometimes it can be too much as well, because I'll tell you the truth. I've been to gym before. I spent weeks upon weeks upon weeks.
Back in the day.
Weeks upon weeks. I wasn't getting my six-pack. I was getting muscles, though. No six-pack. What was happening? I was eating well. I jogged every day.
Going back home and eating them back.
And let me tell you something. I met some hardcore gym, what do you call it, gym buff in the gym. And they put me aside and said, look at me. You're great the way you look. They asked me what I did, and I told them. And they told me what they did. They said, look, this is our life. This is what we do. This is what we pursue. You see us do our little videos. Don't copy us. Just be you, because we are finished. Don't even use terror. Don't touch this. Don't touch that. Don't touch that protein. It will destroy this in you. We don't need that. They said, then they asked me, how many kids have you got? I told them, you looking to have any? I said, no. If you're looking to have more, don't do this, don't do that. So those exercises, why people can, is so much on Instagram now. And I like the way it was described.
I think it's choosing the right one to follow. So it's just don't follow everything.
There's not choosing the right one to follow. What you should do, follow whoever you want to follow, but use your own life as your guide, not the other person. I won't even use Jesus Christ or Mother Teresa as a guide. No way. I'm using me. It's simple as that. When I fail, I fail. I don't want to see you fall and then say, wow, I thought that guy would hold up. You know what I mean? It does more damage to the psyche than if, you know what I mean? So I just stay on my lane. That's it. I like the screaming goat, by the way.
Have you got any tips for our viewers?
Yeah, so I'll just similar to some of the things that have been said already. Social media is a great place. You know, although we've spoken about the negative sides of it, it is a great place at the end of the day. My advice to anyone would be, again, stay in your own lane. No matter what you see out there, no matter what's going on, try and stay in your own lane. Know you're on your own journey. You can use other people's journeys and testimonies to help you achieve what you want to achieve. Yes, but you're in your own lane. You don't know what shoes they've been in. You don't know, they could have this house, that car, that they could have lost their nearest person, and it's inheritance money. You know, so it's you never know where someone else is coming from. So don't always think the grass is greener. Stay in your own lane. Take breaks from social media.
To that.
Take breaks. Don't make it your be all and your end all. Take some time out. Spend time talking to your friends, calling them. You know that thing where you feel like you've caught up with someone because you've watched their stories. And you
that's exactly where I'm at.
The phone conversation.
Pick up the phone and call them and see how they are. If you're following anyone on social media, even if they're family or friends, and they make you feel some sort of way and they make you question your, unfollow them.
I did.
Them. It doesn't mean you're not going to speak to them in real life if you see them. It doesn't mean you're not going to phone them, whatever. But just unfollow them for your own sanity. That's it.
Yeah. And G?
Well, I just had my annual call on the social medias.
Brilliant.
So I don't remember how many followers or following I started with. I went through every single one. I was like, remove. I do it every year.
You cleared up
every year. I did. And I follow it mainly for, spirituality. As you can tell, I'm into my beauty.
We can.
So I have to, thank you. So I had to follow all the makeups and whatever, the ones that look like me anyway. I mean, with all this locked up business, I had to know how to do my own makeup, my hair, my nails, whatever else. I mean, I hated gym anyway, so that didn't really matter. The exercise people are following, they're still there. I watch them while I'm eating my food. But yeah, it's good to see them, and it's good to see people's transformation. Oh, my before, my after. I'm like, hey, yay! I'm just happy I can wear the same clothes I bought last year, so that's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm happy for too. I forgot to say that. I still fit into my tight jeans.
I say to my friends, I think it was in the middle of lockdown. I said to my friends, especially my female friends, try on all your bras. Make sure they still fit. That's how you know if you put on weight or not. And try them on, not just try it on and walk around, do whatever normal stuff you do for at least 2 hours. Then you know you're good. If you can't breathe when you sit down, you have a problem. You need to do something about it. So social media is good, but for me, I use it like I use TV. It's just for entertainment.
It's just for entertainment.
Nothing else to it. I don't take it too seriously. I don't take a lot of things too seriously. So that's, for me, that's just what it is. It's literally, just remember, social media is there minding its own business. If you don't want it to come and mind your own business for you, don't go and disturb it. Just look at it. As young people say, I don't know what that means. I think that's when you just look at something. I've heard this said in podcasts. I have no idea what it means.
Is basically if you're following someone, but you're not really following them. So you don't follow them, but you're constantly looking at their page every day to see what shoes they
I used to have a few of those pre-ads. I've removed them. So people go, you can but don't, like, literally, it's like an undisturbed lion. Just leave it. Don't touch it, and they won't touch you. You'll be fine.
Well, I'm going to say, don't always believe what you see on social media. And following what Tyler said, remember, have a break. So even if it means making that phone call or reading a book, learn to bake a cake, bake fairy cakes, even do some gardening or home improvements. Do what you have to do to get that sanity, to ensure that you can still communicate and keep those life skills. If you have any questions or would like to leave a comment, please do so and hit that button below to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for tuning in to This Is Us, and we have arrived.